The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Moscow, Idaho, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32742. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. Let's get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Starting just under the front bumper, you're going to find 2 tow hooks that are open-ended on the right and left side of the frame rail. Moving up onto the face of the bumper, you'll find on the passenger and driver side dual air horns. Moving just inward on the passenger side, you'll find your PA speaker and electronic siren. And just inward of that location on the frame rail, you'll also find 2 closed tow hooks. Moving up into the center, you'll find a tubbed storage location for your front bumper load. And then moving on to the driver's side front bumper, you'll find your mechanical siren. Let's move up onto the body itself, where you'll find your headlight cluster housing the low and high beam. High beam is on the inside section and the low beam is on the outer edge. Moving up from that, you'll find your turn indicator on the outer edge and an emergency warning light. And then all the way up onto the top, you'll find your windshield with 3 windshield wipers across the seamless windshield. Here's a couple of close-ups of those items that we just identified. These are the tow hooks that are underneath the front bumper. Moving up onto the bumper itself, you'll find the tow hooks that are closed. Moving on to the outside edge, you'll find the air horn. And then just above that air horn on the driver's side is where you'll find your mechanical siren. Let's take a look in the tubbed storage location. You'll find a swivel 1.5-inch discharge. This is foam and water capable. Also on the outside edge, you'll find a marker turn indicator. On the side of the bumper extension, you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light. And then just underneath that front bumper on the side, you'll find the drain location for your front bumper load. Onto the side, you'll also find, we're on the driver's side, you're going to find an air inlet to maintain air brake pressure while parked. General view here of the side of your apparatus, engine 27. As we look to the front step area, once again tucked up in the corner, you'll find the air inlet and also a step light. On all points of entry at all doors, you'll find additional warning and hazard information. Also, you'll find information regarding the use of your seat belts. You'll also find this placard, yellow, manufactured by Pierce Manufacturing for Moscow Fire Department. It has the date of manufacture, the job number. It also has the gross vehicle weight ratings, tire inflation, and it also has the VIN. And then just beneath that, it has all of your information regarding the fluid capacities and fluid types. Moving down to the floorboard, left-hand side, you're going to find your mechanical siren foot pedal. To the right, you'll find your brake treadle, and further to the right, you'll find your accelerator pedal. In the upper left, you're going to find your battery switch. This is the master battery switch for the apparatus. To the right, you'll find a green diagnostic port for your engine, transmission, and J1939 diagnostic port. Moving further down, you'll find ABS diagnostics and DPF regen switches, in addition with engine diagnostics and also your regen inhibit. Moving to the upper left-hand corner, you're going to find on the dash the ignition switch and start. To the right, you'll find your emergency master headlight switch, which contains the parking lights and headlights. And further to the right, you'll find a rocker switch, which allows you to brighten or dim the panel lights. Let's take a look up at the very top. Full display of your panel. On the left-hand side, you're going to find your transmission, oil, DEF level, and water temp. Located in the center, you'll find your tachometer and speedometer. To the right, you'll find voltage, fuel, front and rear air. Above and below the speedometers, we're going to find additional diagnostic information that will illuminate. Let's take a look to the right-hand side of the column. You're going to find your high idle switch and the OK to engage the high idle indicator. Just beneath that, you're going to find your pump shift. This will give you from road to pump or from pump to road. For pump operations, you do require 2 green indicators, the pump engaged and the OK to pump, prior to exiting the cab. The instructions are on the right and left-hand side of the switch. Further to the right, you're going to find main mirror control and convex mirror controls.
And let's take a look at the dash on the right. You'll find your pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. To the right, you'll find your digital Allison transmission pad. Let's move up from this location. This is going to be your backup camera monitor. There are some switches across the bottom, including the power, volume control, channel, and also menu select button. Moving down further, you'll find your generator start-stop switch, and you're also a generator PTO engaged indicator. A couple of future switches, locations in between. You do have a protected tire chain switch, and also to the right, your windshield wiper control, push for windshield wiper fluid. Down in the next section, we'll find the engine brake on and off switch. Next to it, you'll find the engine brake settings for low, medium, and high. And further to the right, you'll find mirror heat and the load manager. Let's move to the right where you'll find your climate control for heat and defrost, and also the heat and AC for the unit. Beneath that, you're going to find some caution labels here regarding engaging your retarder on wet surfaces, and also tire chain information and generator operational speeds. Let's look overhead of the operator. In the position overhead, you're going to find the emergency master switch, horn or siren select, air horn, electric horn select, in red a siren brake, and then a future switch if necessary. And then further to the right, we're going to find the front floodlight. Moving just slightly to the right of this set of switches, we've got an additional set, which is going to be your driver's scene lights, passenger scene lights, driver side rear floodlights, passenger side rear floodlights, driver flood, and passenger flood. As you can see, when any of these switches are indicated, the green light will indicate it's in the on position. Further to the right, you'll find your siren control and PA control. You'll also find directly in the center the Pierce seatbelt information, green indicating someone is in the seat and they are belted, red indicating that they are in the seat and they are not belted. Those will display when the apparatus has weight within those seat areas. Let's look just beneath this. In the very center, you'll find this red style light. This is going to be indication that you have a compartment open or a door ajar and not to move your apparatus. We're back now to the driver's exterior. This is the Shoreline inlet. It is a 20 amp auto eject plug. As we look further to the back, this is the step well to the rear of the apparatus. We'll now move through some of the images with inside the cab here just to display some of the items. You do have center mounted seats in the rear, and also two exterior seats rear facing on each side behind the driver and passenger. Overhead, air conditioning control, and also all of your intercom system headsets. These are the two rear seats, forward facing, fold down seats with SCBAs within the seat back. In the very center location is where you'll find for the operator to do its daily checks of the engine. There is engine transmission checks here, and those are easily accessible with the light on the inside. Let's move to the exterior of the cab now. Let's first start with a couple items. Midship area will identify. There's a set of switches here and warning labels that I would like to go over. First, let's start in the upper left with the red indication here. This is going to be the type of pump that you have. Moving further to the right, I've got a warning label here regarding pressurized caps and the associated hazards while removing those caps under pressure. We do have a minimum operation maintenance schedule for your apparatus. We'll talk about that in the next set of images. I also have a warning label here that only trained personnel should operate this equipment. And then further to the right, we've got a warning label regarding not mixing different types of foam consistencies and batches. Underneath the points of entry, you're going to find LED lighting, which is your perimeter lighting. Just above that, on both the passenger and driver side, you do have additional compartment storage. Quick look at the pump area. We'll break down those items next, starting on the the driver's side with the driver's side auxiliary inlet. This is a 2.5 inch auxiliary inlet. Moving to the left, we'll find the number 1, number 3 driver's side crosslays, and then also the number 1 crosslay foam water capable. Let's move further to the left on this area, and we'll find the number 2 crosslay water and foam capable. And then we'll move further to the left, the front discharge water and foam capable, and then the driver's rear discharge water and foam capable. Further to the left, you'll find your tank to pump. As we move further to the left, we do have a warning here regarding fall hazard and never ride on a vehicle when it's in motion. Moving up, you'll find your fire pump primer. This is a push to prime. There are some instructions just above. that you should have your apparatus at least 1000 while engaging the primer. Further to the left, we're going to find your deluge discharge and then also your minimum operation schedule for 150, 200, and 250 psi. That's the placard on the driver's side that refer to the minimum operations schedule. Moving to the left, you'll find your tank fill and recirculating line, your passenger side 2.5-inch pre-connect, reel discharge, and a reel blowout. The small round is going to be a twist, not a pull, and then the number 2 passenger side discharge. Moving all the way to the left is where you're going to find your large diameter passenger side discharge in green. And then we have an additional information here regarding your Husky 3 foam system. These are the specifications for that foam system. To the right is the red foam system Husky 3 module. The upper left is going to be the system on and off switch. You'll have a digital readout here of your foam concentrate. In the gray area, you're going to find 2 switches, either increase or decrease that foam percentage. And to the right, you'll find a prime button. You also have a system status, which is a set of lights. There's information just above on the operating instructions on this, which also helps display this information regarding the system status. To the right, you have the instructions and also your foam level indicator. This is the amount of foam in tank A. Let's move further to the right where you'll find your engine cool. It's a twist once again, not a pull. And then to the right, you'll find your water level indicator from refill, quarter, half, 3/4 to full. Further to the right in the gray area, we're going to find your master intake and also your master discharge. Just beneath that, you'll find the test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. They are currently plugged, but in test mode, they would be removed and additional gauges added. Let's move further to the right of this location where you're going to find the pressure throttle governor. And then also on the left, you're going to find a bezeled speaker, which allows you to dampen the amount of sound coming out of that alarm. To the right, you're going to find your panel lights, an indication that your pump has been properly engaged in green, driver side scene lights, passenger side scene lights, a spare, and at the very bottom in red, an air horn. In the upper right, you're going to find your driver side flood, passenger side flood, and then at the very end here, you'll find 3 additional spare switch locations. To the right, you're going to find your FireCom module. This is for the operator plug into while at the pedestal here. And then on the left, or I should say the passenger and driver's side, you do have additional controlled spotlights here that do have the ability to telescope. Once again, passenger and driver side. Located directly in the center is where you're going to find your large diameter master stream device. It also has the ability to lift in the upward position to extend. We're down now to the side of the apparatus where we'll find first the Watrous placard. This is the type of pump that you have that also describes the type of GPM. You have 2 2.5-inch discharges on this side also, in addition with a warning label here regarding associated hazards while removing a pressurized cap and to be cautious. There's also on the left the air shutoff, which is also a twist, and then an air outlet. To the right, between the Pierce American Flag Eagle, is your large diameter pump intake. Just to the left is where you'll find that minimum operation schedule that we talked about for the 150, 200, and 250 psi. And then also the driver's side 2.5-inch auxiliary female inlet. Just beneath the pump here, you're going to find a warning label here that only trained personnel should operate this equipment. To the right, this is your foam fill operations. And then just beneath that, you'll find an additional warning label here that only specific types of foams should be utilized and also that they should not be mixed or different consistencies. Beneath that, you'll find the pump drain, and further down, you'll find the pump shift. Also behind this panel, you're going to find foam fill operations. Let's move back up to the very top here to the left side. Here's a close-up. This is your cab lift operating instructions to raise and to lower with instructions, and also a raise protected switch and an activate switch. This is going to be just before the dunnage area. You have your number 1 and number 2 crosslay. You do have sufficient fold down steps to gain access aloft of the vehicle area to gain access to the dunnage. On the side of the vehicle, we'll find 2 side-facing floodlights, and also in the center, just over the rear wheel, is an emergency warning light. Moving further down to the very rear section, just under the roll-up door, is where you're going to find your folding wheel chocks on the passenger and driver side. And as we move to the very front section of the body of the apparatus, you'll find additional drains located in this area. Moving up just above this area in the first compartment, we're going to find adjustable shelving, LED lighting. The very bottom shelf here is the release mechanism for that pull-out shelf. Also in this compartment is contained with the Harrison control module and also the control module breaker box. Let's identify a few items on the exterior of the vehicle. First, starting out the lower left, you have an additional marker light. Above that is where you'll find your DEF fill location. It is a blue 4.5 US gallon tank, and it is blue in color. Above that, 2 bottle storage locations. Directly over the rear wheels where you'll find that side emergency facing light. To the rear of that, you'll find additional bottle storage, but in this same compartment or door, you'll also find the fill location for your ultra low sulfur diesel. It is the silver cap. Just above this location, additional roll-up door. In this compartment, you have a tool board that's peg style. The D handle allows you to open it. On the hinge side, there is a latch to lock it in position and also to release it to store back to its normal position. There's also a generator outlet, is a 15 amp plug. Let's now move to the bottom section here. This is just to the rear of the rear tires. This is where your wheel chocks are located. Above this location, LED lighting, additional shelving, and also a pull-out shelf. The upper right-hand corner in this does have access to 12-volt access. That's the coiled wire that you see here for future. Let's look at the rear of the apparatus. In this cluster, we'll find the emergency light, brake light, turn light, and also reverse light. You also have additional generator outlets here. Once again, 15-20 amp plugs. The cupped switch is going to be the control for the pole light on the left, and then also a cup switch on the right hand side for the pole light to the right. There are sufficient grab handles here so you can go aloft. As we move to the center, you'll find the backup camera located directly over the rear compartment. Here's a couple close-ups of those items. As we mentioned, emergency lights, brake, turn, and also reverse. And then as we move upward from that position, we're going to find the protector here for your booster line that's in the rear of this compartment. Those are the rollers for that booster line. Above on the passenger side and driver's side, you'll find additional pole lights and also the cupped switch to turn on and off. There's also a 2.5 inch rear discharge here and also some warning labels here not to ride on the rear of the apparatus. This is your backup camera, and above that you'll find grab handles and then also fold down steps on the right hand side of the vehicle. Let's move up from this location is where you'll find a pan door. This pan door does house with the D handle all of your ground ladders. There is a 24-foot extension ladder, a 14-foot extension ladder, a 10-foot folding, and then also long-handled tool storage. Let's go ahead and talk about the pole lights here. There is a release nut on the very bottom and also up higher to gain or lock those into position. And you can see it now here at the very top position. Also on the hose bed cover, you'll find additional storage. You do have a reverse crosslay here, which you can see at the very front is a 1.5 inch discharge. You also have on the actual cover itself backboard storage location. Quick view of the side of the apparatus. We'll move through some of the items within the next set of images. Same configuration as the other side, very little variations between the two passenger and driver side, except for outfitting of your vehicle. You do have adjustable shelving and also a pull-out shelf in this compartment. On the side, you do have generator outlets, 15/20 amps, and then also bottle storage locations. The difference here is there is no fuel door or DEF in this location. Just over the rear tire, you'll find the side-facing emergency warning light. Just to the front, I would like to point out there is a warning label here, extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures. Be cautious as to where you park your vehicle. Also additional bottle storage. Just above in the roll-up door, you're also going to find a D-styled release mechanism to gain access to the tool board. Same thing with this, you have a release or lock mechanism on the hinged side. Inside this compartment, you do have shoreline and generated outlet plug. Let's now move midship of your apparatus and talk a little bit about some of the items here. First, starting with a 2.5 inch discharge here. As we move down, you'll find the American flag, Eagle, Pierce logo is your large diameter pump intake. And then to the right, the green large diameter discharge. Across the very bottom, you'll find all your associated drains. They're color-coded and also labeled. Here's a close-up of those images now. You do have, once again, the 2.5-inch discharge. This is the number 2 passenger side. And then there is also a pan style door here so you can gain access behind the pump panel. Just as a reminder, also on the floor area, you will have perimeter lighting illuminating in areas of work. And then also just beneath that, you're going to find, do not cap this. This is your relief valve discharge drain. Through compartments here, number 2 and number 1, this is your cross lay, foam and water capable. As we look underneath, once again, pass-through area or work light, you do have perimeter lighting underneath. Let's move now to the cab of the apparatus. We're on the passenger side of the vehicle. I would like to identify on the passenger and driver side at the very top, you do have additional LED lights for the amount of water in your tank and also side-facing scene floodlights. There's also grab handles in this area for personnel gaining entry and exiting the cab. As we move to the rear section, you'll find at the hinge location you do have the red grab handle to assist firefighters in and out of the cab. Overhead inside you have push on and off red and white lights, in addition within your air conditioning unit. As we move to the passenger front, you'll find the fill location for your windshield wiper fluid. Your vehicle is equipped with a supplemental restraint system and airbag. Do not block or mount anything within this area. Down at the lower section, you'll also find a foot pedal for the siren control. In the upper left-hand corner of the dash, you'll find barrel style and also USB 12-volt access. Into the center area, you'll find your electronic siren and air horn. Just underneath the seat, you do have additional storage behind this pan door. And then as we look overhead of the passenger seat, you'll find the front flood switch, and you'll find also additional future switches if necessary. Also located overhead, you have additional future locations and also radio equipment mounting locations. Just a quick outside view of your apparatus. Congratulations, Moscow, Idaho, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32742. If you have any questions as to the content of this video or any future questions about your apparatus, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.